Why aren't men going up to women anymore and asking them on dates?
They're scared.
Why?
They complain, they talk to their friends, and now you're the bad guy.
It's not even about touching. It's about looking. It's about unwanted glancing. If the woman in the gym is wearing the spandex with the seam up the rear end, the tuchus, the crack, if you glance, you are #MeToo'd. It's become so overboard that I'm like Kate Winslet on the door, floating in the ocean. Titanic is sunk. That's how I feel.
So you want to watch some TikToks about consent?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm Jessie. That's
I'm Nina.
Welcome to the Panic Button. Please like, subscribe, comment if you agree or not below. We got a lot of shit going on. Check the description. And here we go. Maybe not. Here we go.
I would absolutely avoid Snow White on the basis that I think kissing a passed out person is completely inappropriate. Or I would read it and have the conversation where I'd be like, just so you know, if you're passed out, people shouldn't try to
Kissing
solve you.
frogs, I mean...
Is the frog consenting?
Rebecca, come on.
No, but this is real life. People do get snorted on the wrist.
This is silly and it's pathetic, and you are on the side of the Puritans. You're a new Bowdler. You're a new Paul IV, wanting to go and stick fig leaves on statues.
So
Aren't you ashamed of it? Isn't yours a generation which is simply pathetic and frightened and suppressing and puritanical?
Well, the old dude needs to brush up on his modern language.
Puritan.
It's so old school that I don't think that woman knew half the words that came out of his mouth.
She couldn't receive the insult properly because it was too advanced for her.
Yeah, that's pretty much the issue. That's the second issue. Actually, the first issue is that. Okay, I would absolutely avoid Snow White on the basis that kissing a passed out person is
completely inappropriate.
Completely inappropriate. Okay. So there's this witch, right, that manipulates Snow White into eating this apple. The only way you can wake up Snow White from her deathbed is by giving her one kiss. I'm sure Snow White is going to be quite fine with you giving her a kiss to wake her up from being dead. If we're going to have these kind of ridiculous conversations, we just need to blow up the earth now.
Yeah. And so I guess it's not just a kiss from someone. It's true love's kiss. So this is the person.
Yeah.
So this is the person you're going to marry, you're going to have kids with. This is the person you're going to be with forever. Kissing you. Because other than that, you're just desecrating a dead body. Or at the very least, a comatose body, okay? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's not like someone you're never gonna...
Well, we're living in fantasy world where, like, spells and magic exist. So in order to wake up the dead woman, we have to give her a second? Like, skin to skin...
I have no idea.
That's it. Like, touch... in order to wake up the dead body.
I think that would be more
true
like it.
So this isn't even... Listen, I'm sure if it's true love's kiss, then this is a love of Snow White's. So, Snow White, I don't think is going to have an issue with consent when it comes to not only being alive, but waking up from the dead to a true love. Are we saying that this is wrong?
Now, what if we, for just a second, please, if you would humor me, take the story of Snow White as an analogy for CPR?
Could take it that way.
Okay, so this is a woman who is dying or on the cusp of dying, and the only way you can resuscitate or bring this person back to life is by putting your lips on her lips. Now, if I'm passed out and require CPR, I have no ability to consent to it. Would I, though? Yes. I don't care if you're an old man, fucking whatever. If you're going to give me CPR to help me live, that's not kissing. That's CPR. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if we're just putting it on the basis of this person needs mouth-to-mouth to live, consent, I mean, theoretically, consent's great, right? Mm-hmm. But when you apply it the way people are applying it today, it's overbearing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you give a woman a hammer, all she's going to see are nails. If you give a woman the ideology that all men are just trying to take consent away from women, then all a woman is going to see are men trying to take consent away from women. This is just a woman who has had an ideology of men being bad or having bad experiences with men and then taking that and putting that into every situation. A dog could take a leak in front of her as she's walking down the sidewalk and she would somehow manage to attach that situation with the oppression of women by men.
I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. How would you discuss consent? Because she says that if she were to read this kid to her story, she'd immediately discuss consent with them.
If she were to read the kid to her story, what?
If she were to read her kid this story.
This story, okay.
She would immediately discuss consent and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, how would you go about explaining to your child consent in a situation like that? Now, your kid must be like 4 or 5 years old if you're reading them the story, right? How are you going to be like, consent is da-da-da-da-da? It's more like, so this person needed saving, so they gave him the kiss of life, which other people know as CPR, and that's it.
My child wouldn't be stupid enough to even think that was a possibility of reality. My child would know that this is a fantasy story. This isn't real. This isn't how real people in the real world work. This is fiction. A story, a fairy tale. It is Disney. It's not reality. If my child can't decipher the difference between reality and fantasy, we already have an issue on our hands that we need to address immediately.
My kid's already in therapy.
Yeah.
Back in the days, most of the time, you would wait for someone to make the first move. It might be on the first date, it might be the third date, whatever. It could be the man, it could be the woman. But now, all my friends have noticed that the man has stopped making the first move. All my girlfriends are like, they're waiting. It's the third date, fourth date, a week later. He hasn't gone in for the kiss. He doesn't do any touching or anything. And I've asked my dude friends that are single, and they are like, you don't know where a woman's gonna go with that story, and I ain't touching nobody. Oh.
Because these girls that they're dating are giving off this vibe that you don't know whether you can or cannot. Listen, if I was a straight chick and I was dating a guy, the first thing I would say is, if you want to make a move, I'd be like, if you want to make a move on me, just be like, I'm thinking about it. And I'll be like, it's okay. We don't need to go into this
should not
secret. I'm going to look at you and make you read my mind. And you're going to know that it's okay to touch me. It's like mind reading for men now. They have to mind read these women that you just don't freaking know. Listen, man, if you get a vibe where you just don't know, just don't do it. Don't do it. Maybe not date them anymore, because you don't know. I mean, if a woman is a good woman, she's going to tell you, you're going to have an immediate conversation,
about this,
connection about this. And you're going to know where she's coming from. She's going to know where you're coming from. And you're not going to have any of these guessing situations, this questioning, should I, shouldn't I? You shouldn't have that issue with a good woman.
I have 2 notes on that, okay? Mm-hmm. I told you before that when I was young and dumb and thought maybe I was kind of straight, I got mad because I was dating a guy for 6 months and he hadn't kissed me. And now I was in middle school. Don't freak out over here. 6 months is a long time.
I would say that doesn't even count, really, as a relationship.
No. But I'm saying that if I was in middle school and thinking this way, imagine how grown-ass women are feeling. That's my only...
So you're saying if grown-ass women are thinking the way that you thought about relationships with men in middle school,
if I thought he was a
this
pussy,
is an issue.
If I thought he was a pussy for not trying to even kiss me...
How old was he? 12? This doesn't count.
We were 13 years old. We were going to high
this
school.
This doesn't count.
We were going. No, but that's the mentality they have here, right? It's like, this man's not making a move. He must be a pussy, or et cetera, right?
Or maybe he went to the gym one time, saw some bitch with spandex up her ass crack, thought, whoa, that's kind of intense. Saw her looking at him, looking at her intense ass.
Her intense ass.
Her getting all upset about it, making a stink, traumatizing him. I could understand why he has some issues with women. and with the woman he's dating and maybe questioning a lot of things. I get it. That's traumatizing alone.
I understand why he's coming from that point. But these women are all coming from that same mentality I had in middle school. He's such a pussy. He won't even da-da-da-da.
Well, then there's a simple answer for women. Grow the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Grow up.
Because if I were dating a straight man, like you said, I would be like, hey, if you want to do it, just let me know, and we'll go from there, you know? These women are ridiculous because they're going to intimidate these men and then beg them to do the thing that they're saying not to do. Right?
No. You said that they're intimidating these men?
They're only intimidating
Listen,
them
if these men are intimidated by these women, that's a big problem right there.
But
Mommy didn't do something right. Daddy wasn't around.
They are, though, because they're scared to make a move for the stories that might go around or what people might say about them.
They're not intimidated. They're not scared. They're smart and cautious enough.
Nervous to anything?
No. I wouldn't even say nervous. I would say too fucking smart to put your hand in the fucking cookie jar where there's a whole bunch of termites who are going to fucking gnaw your hand off. It's being smart. It's being cautious. It's being vigilant.
Okay, I have another.
Observant. It's being not taken advantage of and being fucked over by stupid women who have their head up their own rear end.
I like your hand visuals. Okay, I have a 100% different question for you. It's not the same as that. In your relationships in the past, who made the first move? Yeah, so
it's 50-50.
I only made the first move once. And that was enough for me to be like, never again. So
that's just a pussy move right there.
But I can see where
never again. It was one bad experience. You're going to be like completely turned off from ever having balls again? Come on now.
No, not necessarily that. More like it wasn't something I enjoyed doing, making the first move.
There's a lot of things that people don't enjoy doing, but it doesn't mean they're not worth doing.
I'd do it if I needed to.
Exactly.
I decided I didn't like doing it because it's definitely super uncomfortable and it's definitely super jarring. So,
what else is super uncomfortable? Being constipated. But sometimes we just need to push the shit out in order to feel better.
Take some Pepto. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
Pew Center research conducted a study that said 63% of men under age 30 would rather stay home and watch porn than go on a date. Men say they are getting their needs met without having to go on a date. Would men rather stay single than be with a woman is the question.
That's what they're saying, pretty much.
63% of men.
I think they're cheap.
Yeah, they just ain't got no money.
They don't have money, which you should get your money up before you start dating. So it is cheaper to sit home and beat your meat than actually go out and find actual women to hang out with.
That's a sad reality.
I disagree.
Why? What do you think?
Is it less of a headache to have to deal with a woman or something?
There it goes. Like, it's a headache. Now I got to take you out. I got to hear what you had to tell your whole day.
That's why you take out people you actually like, and then you don't feel that.
Yeah, but then I got to get to know you first to like you, right?
Yeah.
So how do I get to know you?
Call them.
So you rather hand?
Hey, listen, I'm married.
You always gotta say.
Okay, so I got these nigga problems.
If you wasn't married,
I'd probably beat him by me at 100 miles an hour.
Okay, so the fact that those girls said, the first thing that they said as the excuse was that they were cheap and had no money is incredibly unintelligent of them. If they were to actually stop thinking with their ego and actually think with their brain, they would actually see that that's not the reason whatsoever. But at the same point, I could see where they're coming from because last night we watched that call-in show. That
MLB?
knockoff Andrew Tate call-in show.
Isn't that it?
Yeah, for the past 2 weeks I've been listening to that, and I heard quite a few boys call in, and I noticed a pattern with these guys. Not only did they constantly talk, but they made excuse after excuse after excuse and wanted to know how to make money without having to really do anything.
Change anything.
They were usually lazy guys who just made excuses and talked a lot. This was a pattern. So I can understand where the girls are coming from with this. Is probably a lot of what they see. But their problem is their ignorance and the fact that they don't see that this is not all men. This is just some men that they see. The other part, the other men who would rather stay home, have probably just dealt with so many women who are so obnoxious and unbearable to deal with that it's just better to just get off and stay home than to have to get off and then deal with bitching, nagging, nasty, never happy, always wanting something else bitches.
Yeah.
I've dealt with it enough to know. And most of the time, it's just not worth it because women of today, for some reason, unless you get really fucking lucky, they're never happy. They're never satisfied. They always want more, yet they never think about what they give in return, what they have to fucking offer, which makes them not only completely boring people to be around, but they're always bored and you have to entertain them at all times, which is absolutely exhausting and never allows you time to think for yourself.
Or decompress.
And what you have to do for yourself in order to be a happier individual. These people, these women make you miserable.
Yeah. And to say a number as high as 63%. That's over 50%. That's over half the men. Sorry. Over half men under 30 years old would rather stay at home and watch porn
than deal with
go
women.
out with your fucking stupid ass bullshit.
Than to deal with the majority of women. What does that say about the majority of women?
Are you surprised we have men saying they'd rather date us than a regular woman?
Because women are unbearable to deal with.
Straight women, man. I get it.
And when it comes down to it, if we have to deal with younger, prettier women or older, uglier women, we would rather date. If we have to deal with the pretty and unbearable or the older and unbearable, I'm going with the younger unbearable. They're probably going to be fitter and prettier than the older ones. I'm saying if you had to deal with two unbearable women, you had to. Mm-hmm. Two unbearable women. One is older, one is younger. Who would you rather choose? Okay, say you're 25.
Okay.
Would you rather deal with the 30-year-old woman who has had a lot of relationships for you to hear about? Or would you rather deal with a younger woman who hasn't had that much experience?
Can I be honest?
Yeah, go ahead.
The older woman and I will probably get along better.
How do you know?
Because my generation makes me want to put a bullet through every orifice possible that would kill me.
Okay. Well, my generation...
You're not technically...
I've dated my generation. You know what it's made me do?
What?
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, we kind of can't leave any of that last part in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, subscribe, let us know what you think. Why are men not making the first move? Is that the last one? Did we do all three?
Mm-hmm.
We did all three?
Yeah.